What's up, y'all? As we get into this video, out front, I'm going to be criticizing House of the Dragon. I think that's kind of obvious by the title of this new series that I'm making called What Would You Have Me Do? Poking a little fun at the writers and the show and everything like that. But let me make it clear, I do love this show. Maybe love is a little stronger. I really like this show. I'm willing to date this show, see where it goes. I'm not trying to put a ring on it just yet, but it's a good show. But after watching season 2, I'm seeing some of the cracks. And I'm just making this video. I'm trying to light the beacons. Gondor is calling for aid. Maybe we can save the last 2 seasons of this show. Maybe we can smooth over some of these cracks that I'm starting to see form. But I think to do that, we really need to talk about the writers, the showrunners, the writers, and in this video in particular, Sarah Hess the Cruel. Let's get to this article from the Hollywood Reporter that I think has been resurfacing in the fandom over the past few weeks from the Hollywood Reporter, where someone, I don't know who the fuck it is. Who is this guy? All right, let's see his name. Let's give him some credit. James Hibbard. So there's a particular exchange in this interview that I really wanted to key in on. And before I get to that, I just want to say I'm not some book purist. I do love the books. I love the whole universe. I love Game of Thrones, season 1 through 4. I'll even watch 5 and 6. I'll put that out there. This show, I've really enjoyed this show. I love all the books. But I am not some book purist who where every deviation from the books is an abomination or whatever. I'm not that kind of guy. But this is a point, and it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but we should have Fat Rhaenyra. Hold on. In fact, let me get to this exchange. I'm getting ahead of myself. So anyway, Dr. Hibbert asks Sarah Hess, and the context of this is they're talking about in the first season when they're hanging the people who wouldn't immediately support Aegon for the throne, and they're implementing their coup and the Red Keep and consolidating their power and all that. They're talking about how Alicent might be complicit in these terrible, violent events. So Dr. Hibbert asks, right, because that's what he would have done. It sometimes feels like the show is trying to keep the audience on Alicent's side, while her story arc demands that she's basically a villain. Like in a situation like in this episode, where they're hanging all the nobles who don't bend the knee quick enough, she's complicit in the murder spree, right? She has power and agency in this situation that she's either exercising or choosing not to exercise. This is Sarah's response. There is a lot in this response. I think in her mind, all this was a necessary evil, Sarah says. She's focused on, quote, we're not going to kill Rhaenyra. That's ridiculous. She's Viserys' daughter. He would never have wanted this. I'm not going to let that happen, end quote. And as far as the sympathetic thing goes, in George R. R. Martin's Targaryen history, Book of Fire and Blood, the history is written by these unreliable narrators, and nobody really knows what happened in these rooms. They know the big events that happened historically, but they don't know what anyone's intention was. God. And history is often written by men who write off women as crazy or hysterical or evil and conniving or gold digging or sex pots. Like in the book, it says Rhaenyra had kids and got fat. Well, who wrote that? We were able to step back and go, like, come on. We were able to step back and go, the history tellers want to believe Alicent is an evil, conniving bitch, but is that true? Who exactly is saying that? That's the part of the thing we're playing with in this and in season 2. Okay, first of all, God, there is a lot in that answer, and I don't know where. I'm gonna have to make 2 videos on this, because just addressing her response to the Alicent portion of that question. When you suggest that Alicent is blameless in everything that led up to the war, and even in her intentions, you are removing the agency from that character that you profess to be trying to give more agency. You're removing her agency by whitewashing her and infantilizing her. Just because she's a bad person doesn't mean she's a bad character. And you're removing the character from the character by taking away all of her motivations and decisions that would be natural for a person in her position. both in her position and in this world and in this, pseudo time period that we're playing with. But we'll leave that to the side. We might make another video on that. I'm not sure yet. Let's talk about the Rhaenyra portion of that question. Let's go back. Like in the book, just going back to what Sarah Hess says. Quote, like in the book, it says Rhaenyra had kids and got fat. Well, who wrote that? We're able to take a step back. We're able to step back and go, the history tellers want to believe Alicent is an evil, conniving bitch. Okay, let's just stop right there. So is being fat evil? Like, is it bad to gain weight after childbirth? Is that what Sarah Hess is saying? That if you're fat, like you're somehow, Rhaenyra would be less morally upright? Is that what she's saying? That's sort of what it sounds like to me. And I would like to say, give me fat Rhaenyra. Give me BBW Rhaenyra. Give me my BBW Dragon Queen. Damn you, Sarah Hess. But seriously, I think fat Rhaenyra, I don't think that this is something just put on her by the evil men or maesters writing history. I think that this is just what happened to her. She was the realm's delight. Everybody thought she was the hottest thing in the realm. And then she gets fat, and the character has to deal with that. Has to deal with the outcome of that. It's very natural for women to gain weight after childbirth. In fact, if you really want to demonstrate the challenge of womanhood that these characters have to go through in this patriarchal setting, have Rhaenyra be the same fiery dragon rider that we know and love from the books, while also dealing with getting fat in a martial society that would look down on something like that. And I dare say more of the audience will be able to identify with Rhaenyra if she had some flaws and was not a hot, smart, perfect woman in power. Make the audience confront that prejudice within themselves. Make them love or hate fat Rhaenyra the same way they love or hate the hot Rhaenyra that we have. And if they don't, then they need to search within themselves why that is. Let's say the writing is the same. It's exactly the same as what we have, but she was fat. Would Rhaenyra have the same love and support from the fandom that she has now? It'd be interesting to see. Plus, everyone wasn't hot in the Middle Ages. Have you seen the pictures of those people? They're syphilis-covered goblin people. And I don't just mean in Europe. All over the world, do you really think anybody was looking good in 1200 AD? Pre-penicillin, pre-germ theory, do you think anyone was fresh and clean and hot in the Middle Ages? Most probably looked like that Rick and Morty looking dude that first got toasted in the sowing of the seeds, which probably one of my next videos will be on that fucking abomination of a scene. I know a lot of people love the sowing of the seeds and the red sowing and all that. It was a stupid scene. It was dumb. Who would do it like that? Anyway, that's another time. At the end of the day, if Hess was behind the decision to keep Rhaenyra hot and skinny and all that stuff, that in and of itself was a misogynistic decision. I have a lot more to say about Rhaenyra, a lot more to say about the motivations of some of these characters. Again, the title of this series that I'm doing is What Would You Have Me Do? And that's going to be a big video of they're really trying to absolve Alicent and Rhaenyra of all culpability of the horrible bloodshed that is about to happen by having them, beyond all reason and sense, meet up again and again to try to, let's stop this war, let's turn back, let's undo things, whatever. And her constantly saying, what would you have me do? And everyone is like, fucking fight. That's what we would have you do. So that's another video for another time. So it's not like fat Rhaenyra or skinny Rhaenyra is making or breaking the show for me, but it's a straw on the camel's back. And I feel like all of these changes are being used to absolve and whitewash these characters. And all of these changes from the book, all of these needless changes, there's plenty of room to play around with, especially in a story like this, where there's unreliable narrator, ambiguousness that you can definitely play around with, but they are making changes that don't need to be made in order to make their characters into something that they're not, frankly. And I just feel like having fat Rhaenyra would not have been a huge deal. Having evil Alicent would not have been a huge deal. And Having Helena choose one of her children for Blood and Cheese to end would not have been a huge deal. There are reasons why there are reasons why this story is beloved, and when you start to change a little, it ends up changing a lot. George R. R. Martin has the same sentiment, and I'll be making probably a video on some of his words regarding the second season as well. Again, I've been really enjoying the show. It's not like Rings of Power. God, it's not like Fallout. It's not like The Acolyte. Those shows were terrible. Those shows are and were terrible. This show is actually good, and I enjoy it. And I'm happy that it's getting people into the Song of Ice and Fire universe. And I'm excited for the next season. I'm excited for Dunk and Egg. I'm excited for all this crap. It's not perfect. And I'm going to call it out where it's not perfect. Yeah, anyway, this video's too long anyway. Hope you guys like and subscribe if you liked it. If you didn't like it anyway. Come on, don't be an asshole. And please, be here for the next one. And the more you guys like and subscribe and comment down below, what changes do you hate from the book and all of that stuff, the more effort I'll be able to put into these videos, the more editing I'll be able to do, the more polished they'll be, the funnier they'll be. And so it'd be really great. If you guys could just drop a comment, man, like and subscribe, anything. It'd be great. All right, love and peace, y'all.